Hello everyone, Danuta Siemek here again, video number 5. We're going to uncover the secrets behind how come we do what we do, what really motivates us. How is that one person is doing this behavior in this same situation and another person is engaging in a different behavior? We're going to find out. Let me bring a few quotes from, way back, like the quote from the Bible I found. And it's talking about, as a man thinks in his mind, so is he. Interesting, that's from the Bible. I'm going also to read out a rather longer quote, but I think is very appropriate to talk about this quote here today, by Mahatma Gandhi. And he talks, keep your thoughts positive because your thoughts become your words. Keep your words positive because your words become your behavior. Keep your behavior positive because your behavior becomes your habit. Keep your habits positive because your habits becomes your values. Keep your values positive because your values become your destiny. If we look at this, making a shorter version of it, it will go like this. Keep your thoughts positive because your thoughts become your destiny. Very, very powerful. So what are they talking about? Well, there is a formula, there is an operating system, if you like, there is a pathway that indicates and it covers all behavior. Before we get to before we engage in any action, there's few things happen beforehand. So imagine that we are living our lives just like everybody else, and we're stimulated all the time, we're triggered all the time. Our senses, we see things, we hear things, we touch things, people say things. So most things really, as we go through our day, is not that personal to us. So we're not really focusing too much of it, and we're not really paying too much attention. However, if it's consciously or subconsciously, we're constantly constantly interacting with our environment. How? Through our thoughts. We're interpreting our environment. Everything that we ever experienced, that we ever heard, all the faces that we've seen in our life, all the situation, all the smell that we smelled, all the things we smelled, everything is in our subconscious mind. So it amounts to about 90%. So really, when we're engaging mindfully, purposefully, and rationally, we're only utilizing only 10%, and we seem to be functioning well. We don't really need more than that, seems to be, because we're okay. But this is how it's all landscape. 10% is conscious mind, 90% is subconscious mind. Vast amount of thoughts every single day, 60 to 80,000. So if it's only 10% is conscious, about 50 to 70,000 thoughts that we're having. We're not even aware that we're having them. And this information is important for this video and the next video. So we're interacting with our environment all the time. We're interpreting the environment all the time. And, a lot of the time we say things like, oh, this person is seeing the environment, the world, or people seems to be seeing as a half full glass. Another person is seeing half empty glass. That's the difference. So my question is, why is that? So we're going to talk about it later. So the fact is that we're thinking all the time and we're interacting with our environment all the time. If we're talking about anger and other emotions, so something happens, there's a trigger occurred, there's an activating event, someone said something to us that we perceived as being less than positive, maybe even shaming, maybe even put down. So we're thinking, oh, someone is trying to put me down. That's not a very nice feeling. Who he thinks he is? So we're generating the feeling. What would be the feeling that we're generating? The emotion that comes up is probably anger. It's probably lower level of anger at this stage. And you know, so our behavior would be maybe that we say something, we defend ourselves, or we decide that we're not going to do this, so we remove ourselves from the situation. So the really key point in here is that our thoughts and our emotions, they coexist with each other. And since we're thinking all the time, we're experiencing emotions all the time, you cannot separate those two. Our thinking and our feelings, they are existing with each other, and they're feeding each other. In fact, our thoughts are feeding our emotions. And look what happens next when we're talking about this pathway. After we're experiencing our feelings, after we experience our emotions, then our behavior is determined. Then we act on it. So what is really driving our behavior? Our behavior is dictated by the way we feel. And the way we feel dictates the way we're thinking. And that's what we're saying. It's not what happens to us. It's how we respond to the situation. The person who is responding, who is interpreting the situation from the standpoint of abundance and half full glass, it's going to have a very different experience about this situation as the person who is looking from the deficit and scarcity point of view and lack, and is seeing things from the half empty glass. Let's say the traffic jam. You know, I don't know, 50 cars are stuck, they're not going anywhere, they're all going to be late, as I mentioned before. One person experiencing a high level of anger, anxiety, screaming and trying to navigate through the little spaces that they are there, and you know, that took them about 5 minutes and they got to the standing point. Whereas another person in the same situation, this person is going to be late as well. This person is thinking, oh great, I've got another 20 minutes for myself. So I'm just going to make a phone call to my friend, or maybe I'm going to crack the music and sing. You know, they seeing the same situation very differently. So it goes for everything we're experiencing. Even if we're not talking about anger, if we're not talking about negative feelings, the formula applies to every situation in our life. So there is a trigger, activating event that gets our attention consciously or gets our attention subconsciously. We're interpreting, we're usually assessing for safety. A lot of the time, our assessment and our interpretation is really from the point of view of safety or danger, really. And then we're creating emotions resulting from our thoughts, and our emotions lead into our behavior. So that's really explains why we behave so differently. So comparing you to the next person is really a pointless exercise, because our interpretation, our thoughts, our viewpoint on the same thing is very different. So my question is, how come we're so different? How come one person is seeing this situation as a good situation, another person is seeing the same situation as dangerous? What is the difference? So how do we get to think what we're thinking? And that is the code. That is the secret. And we're going to talk about this in our last video, number 6. Thank you for watching, and see you in the next video.